Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my craft table. If you're new, my name is Jen. I'm really glad to meet you. In today's video, I have about 4 Halloween crafts that I thought would be fun to put together. So this is a craft with me video. Grab your favorite beverage, grab your craft supplies. Let's head down to the craft table and get started on today's projects. Okay, for this first craft of the Halloween season, we're going to be making a really cute little sign for my little coffee area in my kitchen. Now, this came from the Target Bullseye / dollar section, and it really actually was $1. I'm trying to think when I purchased it. I want to say I got it last year. This is what the bottom and the sides look like, but I did just take some cheap black craft paint that you would buy at, you know, Michael's, Walmart, etc. And I just painted the bottom here and the sides just to give it a more cohesive look. So I have a design here to put on it, and this is the cutest design. And this is actually quite a big design. Okay, so just spin my mat, pull that off. And then I'm going to grab my scissors. Okay, there is quite a big stretch of vinyl here that I'm just going to trim away. This can be used for future projects. I'm sorry that this is white on white. This is, what brand is this? This is the 405 Basics brand from Hobby Lobby. And I just grabbed a very large piece of white vinyl out of my stash. So what I'm going to do is get this weeded out, and then I can show you the design before we put it on the chalkboard. Okay, so this says freshly brewed coffee served with cream and sugar. And I just thought that was a riot. So now I just need to go through and pull out all of these middles. I don't know if any of you do any festivities for Halloween. Usually my family goes to a huge block party over by my aunt's house. My daughter kind of just tries to decide whether she wants to go with family or friends. You know how those teenagers can be. It's usually a pretty good time. And I'm still trying to decide if I want to dress up, and if I do, what I want to be. There we go. Let's see if you can see that. So it has, here we go. It has some ghost, a cup of coffee, some spider webs, freshly brewed. I don't see any letters missing, so I think I did a great job there. Okay, I am going to use this piece of transfer tape. It came in a package of vinyl that I got from Tech Wrap, and I never noticed that it was in there until today when I was looking through all of my materials, and I noticed, and I thought, great, I can just use that. I always have the hardest time pulling up transfer tape, and it doesn't matter what brand I use. I seem to have the hardest time pulling up a corner. So I'm just going to pull away about 1/2 to a full inch. I'm not going to take the whole thing off. And then I am going to place the transfer tape right on top, just like that. Okay. I got a ruler here. There we go. All right, let's get out any bumps or bubbles that might be here. So I'm going to burnish this down on the front and the back. All right, next we just need to pull off our carrier sheet. Okay, and I'm going to keep my weeding tool close at hand. And wow, okay, this transfer tape is really awesome. I haven't been able to do this in a good while. Holy cow, that's amazing. I love that. All right, and then you'll see why in just a moment, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to place this like that, because I don't wanna get all of this down on my blank all at one time. Okay, I'm actually gonna move this to the top. Let's change this up a little bit. I want to use this box that I put around the design. I'm using it mostly to help line everything up. So I wanted to make sure it was straight and even. So I'm going to trim off this transfer tape right along here. Okay. And then I'm going to slide this box right down here along the edge, getting it nice and straight. Okay. I think I got that nice and straight. Hopefully I did. I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to pull this away. Okay. And then let's set this like that, and that'll keep it from moving. So now I'm just going to use this little scraper tool to go right down the sides here. Okay, and then we can pull up this transfer tape, and I'm going to pull up that white square along with it. That was mainly just to help line everything up. I mean, it does look good, but I don't know. It's kind of a little bit big, so it doesn't want to stick down on the sides. So that'll be okay. Okay, there we go. There's our first project right there. That looks really cute. Oh, I love that. That is so cute. Yeah, and I think it's okay without that square all the way around. That was mainly to help me get it lined up way down here at the bottom, but oh my goodness. That's super cute. I love it. I can't wait to put that in the kitchen. Okay, let's move on to project number 2. Okay, for our next project, we're gonna make some really cute Halloween coasters. However, we are going to use this, which I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and we're gonna just repurpose this. I'm gonna take it apart here in just a moment, show you how I do that. And so basically for $1.25 and a little bit of printable vinyl, we will have 3 of our coasters. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and take off the excess printable vinyl. So I just found a design. This is like a seamless printable, I guess a Halloween background, and I'll link that for you down in the description. Okay, so we've got those ready to go, and because of the sizing, I went ahead and made like an offset in black and then this one in white, and I flattened it all together, and hopefully I have my sizing correct, and if not, we'll just trim off around the excess. Okay, so for this here, we are literally just going to pull up these little staples. Okay, so we've got 1 and 2. So there's one of them. Okay, and then this can be used for a future project. 4, and these 2 here. Okay, and I thought about taking off this design or painting over it, but to be honest with you, I think it really is okay. I'm just gonna leave that on there. And let's go ahead and pull off these just like that. How cute is that? That is so cute. It's like a watercolor / bohemian print, and I thought it was super cute. So I am going to see how close of a match I got. Looks like I actually did pretty good. This one in particular, I will probably need to trim off a little bit there. Okay, I'm just going to use my brayer to push this down onto the coaster like that. Okay, so that's 1. Right, now I'm going to bring this in, this little rotating cutting mat, and I'm just going to rotate it. All right, and then finally, I am just going to go over these with a very light coat of Mod Podge. Since they're going to be little coasters, we want them to have a little bit of protection. We'll just go like this on all 3. And then these can hang out to dry. And they'll be so cute. Love it. Okay, so I am going to call that good. And we're just going to let these dry. All right, so these have had a little bit of time to sit and dry, and they actually have come out super cute. So here is my first one right here. Love that. That is so fun. And it, you know, it's protected a little bit from the condensation of a glass with the Mod Podge. Here's the blue one. And then here's the other light colored one. They turned out great. And for this season, these are perfect. I can always add to it. I probably could sand off the tops if I ever wanted to, but these are fantastic. And I'm not going to, mainly because I just don't have the extra time right now, but you could even paint along the edges. Okay, or you can paint the back. You could even double side these, so you could turn these over and have a fall motif instead of just Halloween. So these actually came out really well, and I'm very, very pleased. So for $1.25, a little bit of printable vinyl and some time, I have 3 lovely little coasters. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next project. Okay, for my next project, I have some tiny little bookmarks, and I had ordered this pack. I actually thought these were going to be a lot bigger, you know, kind of like the ones that I normally do, which are approximately 2 by 6, but this is okay. There's a ton in here. Okay, so in this package, there are 15 of these bookmarks, and then they do come with these right here. So these are just these little tassels. Those are pretty fun, really cute. And if you don't like these kind of tassels, you could totally use ribbon or chiffon, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. I'm actually just going to need a few of these bookmarks. Now for these bookmarks, they do already have the hole in the top. Okay. And on either side, they have a protective film, just like that. Okay, and so I'm going to leave the protective film on the back side of the bookmark until I'm completely done. And when I'm ready to put the vinyl on the front, then I'll pull the protective backing on. And you notice that when you pull it off, it becomes more clear. So this coating, this little protective sheet, it is kind of opaque. So these are not white or frosted bookmarks. They are clear. And I'm going to set those over there. Let's go ahead and get our design ready. Actually, I have several designs here. So I just picked up some black vinyl out of my stash. This vinyl right here in particular is the Smart Vinyl, but I didn't have a large enough sheet to run it through my machine, so I did put it on my mat. And so I've got 2 designs that are just the black vinyl there. I have a design here which will go with this off-colored yellow or mustard yellow. And then I have this design right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these ready. Let's see, we need some transfer tape. I think that will work. Hopefully that will work. Okay. So here we go. I was thinking that these would be great for a classroom party for younger kids. It would be great for donating to a library, or if you're someone that likes to do something a little extra when it comes to people who are trick-or-treating, you could make a bunch of these. They were really, really cheap. So you could make a bunch of these and put them in little trick-or-treater. You could also do a party favor. So if you're having a Halloween party. And then finally, if you have any book lovers that you know, you could give them out just as a fun little giveaway. Okay, so I need to be smarter than the Smart Vinyl. Now, Smart Vinyl is a little thicker, and so the backer, if I can get this off here without ruining my design, maybe I should have left a little edge. Okay, I did find a little edge down here. There we go. Okay, we're gonna pull this off. But anyway, Smart Vinyl is a little bit thicker because the vinyl and the carrier sheet you don't need a mat if you have the size that'll fit in your machine. Once you start getting scrap pieces, you do have to get a mat to put it on. It actually works really well. I've been pretty pleased with the Smart Vinyl that I've used. Okay, we're going to take this little protective film off on this side, just like that. And then hopefully I sized this correctly. That's kind of what I'm hoping. In fact, because it's clear and I need to be able to see it, let's bring this back in and put this on top. And then I'm going to place this down right like so. Okay, just like that. Okay, then I can find a spot where I can peel up the little transfer tape here. I'm enjoying this transfer tape. I've never used it before, but I am enjoying it. Okay, I'm going to put that right there. Make sure everything is down. And then I think what I'm going to do is, my design is ever so slightly bigger than my bookmark. So I guess I got my sizing a little bit off. But I'm just going to bring in my true control knife right here, and I'm going to go along the edge wherever I see any hangover and pull that off of there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I could leave this back film on if I wanted to, but on this side it looks a little cloudy. So I really like the idea of having the white, but I think I need to change my blade. Okay, so I've had this blade for quite a while and I think I need to change it out. So what I'm gonna do, in case you've never seen this before, is up here is a dial. Okay, so this is the lock. Let me see if I can show you. That's lock and that's unlock. And then you just push it down and it comes right off. Then you take your plunger, push it in, grab your new one, let go, and it will pull it out for you. Okay, and then let's grab this white. Okay, so we're gonna pull off the back of that coating there. And we're gonna peel away this carrier sheet very carefully. Okay, so the raised black vinyl, I am just gonna turn it over and then I can put this on here, just like so. And I think that'll hopefully give me a smoother appearance. All right. Oh yes, that is better. Okay, so, okay, and then I'm just going around the bookmark and I'm pulling away the excess, all right? Just like that. That works perfectly. And then I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to pull out or cut out this area here to make way for my string. Then for this one, I am just going to use some plain old, I believe it's gross grain ribbon, nothing super special. Okay, so we'll cut it just a little bit longer because we're going to fold it. Here it is, like that. I'm going to fold the ribbon in half. I am going to pinch the end. I'm going to send it through the little hole, and then I'm going to pull the ribbon pieces through that. Tighten that up on there, really, really good. Okay, so then I am going to take my ribbon, and you can see, do you see how it's kind of fraying just a slight little bit? I'm gonna cut it on the angle like that. Separate those two pieces. And then I just have picked this up at Walmart, like by the checkout, and it's just like a little butane lighter, I guess. And then basically I'm just gonna rub it on the very end. And it just kind of seals up those ends so that they won't fray. So just like that, perfect. All right, this little bookmark is so cute, and that was super easy to weed. So we'll just set that one off to the side. Okay, we got that weeded out. That looks super cute. I'm going to reuse that transfer tape. I think it will fit. And we'll just get that laid down here. Okay. And actually that's not the friendliest mat for burnishing. You want a hard surface when you burnish down stuff. Okay, so we'll do the back side. And again, this is the Smart Vinyl. All the black on this project is the Smart Vinyl. So the only thing about the Smart Vinyl that's hard for me is that the carrier sheet is very stiff because it acts as its own mat. So I do find myself, you know, I have trouble with it sometimes. We have one spider that decided to come away, and then I'm going to grab this spider and put that spider right there. Okay, I'm going to bring in another bookmark. We're going to take off our protective paper. We're going to get our spooky down on there. Okay. Boy, I tell you what, my sizing was like to the millimeter. Seriously. Maybe I should have made my design just slightly smaller. Okay. All right. Not bad. We'll go ahead and take the back off. Okay, so next I'm going to take this tassel and I'm going to push it up through this hole and separate that, make a hole, grab the tassel, pull it through that hole right there, pull it tight, and there we go. There is our spooky. All right, so there's another. So if you have littles and you are making traditions with them, fantastic. Cherish those little traditions with your littles, because when they become teenagers, well, I don't know. My son was pretty much a homebody, but the girls are always more social, so they like to run and go and play with their friends. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she'll indulge me and we'll do a jack-o'-lantern this year. And maybe I could print something out on my Cricut that she could use as a template. That would be kind of fun. All right, so I'm gonna pull up this carrier sheet. We're gonna lay the black pumpkins on top of the orange pumpkins, and then we'll layer all of that together onto the bookmark. That one, I may have gotten that one a little off, or no, maybe it looks good. Okay, so we're gonna burnish this down and then peel away our our carrier sheet, leaving just our transfer tape and our vinyl. Okay, and I don't think I pulled this off, so yep, did not pull that off. So there's that one. And then let's think about it. Do we want our pumpkins to be this way, or do we want them to be this way? Oh, I think I want them to be this way. Okay. Hopefully I sized these correctly. I keep saying that with every bookmark. Hopefully I sized it correctly. Okay. Then we'll peel this one up. That looks great. And then we need to take the backing off of this bookmark. Okay, I'm wondering, do we want, okay, the gold does not match, so maybe we'll just do another, we'll do another one of these. Okay, there we go. There's our number 4. And I think this last one is, well, other than the mummy, I think this last one is my favorite. Trick is going to be like this, and then you can see this knockout portion, and that's where the or treat is going to go. So I'm going to grab, actually let me grab a clean piece of transfer tape. So I just had a birthday last month, and according to my daughter, I am officially an old lady. But oh, before I finish that story, I'm taking this bottom solid line and I'm going to line it up along the bottom of those orange letters. And that way I can get a nice even look when I place it down on the bookmark. Back to my story. So my daughter and my husband got me some puzzles and books, among other things, for my birthday. And I really like to read. I just don't get enough time to read. Being a school teacher, I have to craft when I can. And then not to mention that we're also, you know, a sports mom. So there's that. Okay, this R, I'm gonna put this black line right here on the bottom of the trick or treat. I'm gonna put that there on the bottom of that R. Hopefully I get that lined up correctly. So I need to make it a goal to find some time to read every day. I'm wondering if it would be easier to do this. Just like that. That wasn't too bad. I'm hoping that my R and my C are in the correct place from side to side. Then we'll have to take a look at that in just a second. Okay, I'm using my mint tape to hold that down. And I just want to see if, okay, so the T needs to go, I may have to piecemeal this, guys. So the T and the K, that's gonna go right there. Okay. And I'm gonna trim this. I think I have my letters a little bit off. And then this would be the R. The R is gonna go right that. Okay. Okay, there's definitely an easier way to do this, and that would not be the way that I'm doing it. Just so you know. Oh, goodness. I probably should have done this from the get-go. Okay, so my T is gonna go over here. I made this way more difficult than it needed to be. I should have just done this to begin with. Okay, there we go. So here's the issue though. I'm gonna take that mucky piece of transfer tape and I'm gonna cover all of that because I wanna make sure that I don't pull up anything where, you know, I've cut it apart. So that'll be okay. And then we just go through and we pull off the trick or treat part. I do like an actual book. So I actually have on my side table, I have like quite a few little books right now to read. And I'm hoping to start incorporating that into my schedule. But be that as it may, books are fantastic. And if you have a particular author that you really, really like, let me know down in the comments. Because I am always looking for good authors. Okay, I can't see. Let me bring that mat back in. I feel like my crafting today, my crafting game is a little discombobulated. Okay. All right, so we've talked about trick-or-treating, Halloween parties, all kinds of stuff. We've talked about reading. What else can we talk about today? Scary movies. Do you like scary movies? I do, but sometimes they're a little too much. It's Halloween season, fall, usually Halloween and fall. I really like to watch Twilight and Harry Potter. They're a lot less super crazy than some of these horror movies, which I do like a good scary movie. Okay, trick or treat. Oh, that's cute. Okay, take that off. And I have a green. Will that look bad? Actually, that will not look bad. Let's go with green. So we already have three black. We'll have one reddish orange and one green. It's not an exact green, but that's okay. And pull. Very nice. Oh, look at that. That's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna grab some cardstock here. All right, so here's the trick or treat. Here is the pumpkins. Here is our spooky. And here is our mummy. And I'm still not sure that I like the white on the back. Maybe I will take maybe I'll take this vinyl off. I'm just not loving that. So I'm gonna change my mind before it gets too late. So there we go. All right, there are our cute little bookmarks. Those are so cute. And I actually know a few people that would actually probably really appreciate some fun seasonal bookmarks. All right, well, let's move on to our next craft. For my next and final craft, we're gonna make a fun felt banner. This is the fabric grip mat. So it's pink, it's for fabric. And normally with fabric, I don't worry too much, but when I'm working with felt, felt is very linty, I guess that's the word I would use. So felt loves to have, loves to leave bits of itself behind. So what I like to do is I will place some low tack transfer tape. Now this is a paper transfer tape. It looks like this. And I forget where I purchased this one from. I may have gotten this from Expressions Vinyl. I may have gotten it online, but my shorter roll, the one that's shorter, I got from Expressions. This one is a 12-inch wide roll. And basically I just unrolled it, laid it on the mat, and then the sticky side here is low tack enough that it won't ruin my felt, but it's just tacky enough to hold on to my felt. So what I'm gonna do is pull all of these things off, and then off camera in a little bit, I will pull the rest off. So the felt leaves behind, you know, linty stuff. Oh, I just kind of tore my little ghosty there. I'll have to see if I can fix him. And then I just brayer it down onto this, you know, low tack tape. Okay, be careful with the eyes, Jen. Don't get ahead of yourself. Oh, that did much better job. Okay, so I got 2 more of these to do. And anyway, so I like to put the felt on top of some kind of sticky something or other that sits on my mat. When I peel this off of the mat, okay, my mat is still clean, right? So I have to, I'll have to go through and peel all of that off, but now my mat is still clean and I don't have to worry about cleaning felt off of my fabric mat. And also, if you don't have a fabric mat, this technique, it'll work pretty good on a regular grip mat, and I'll show you that in a moment. Let me pull up this last ghost here. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. I'll clean those later. And then I have this side over here. All right, I have everything off of the mats, and in case you haven't guessed yet, we're gonna be making a really sweet felt banner / garland, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna leave this at home or take it to the classroom. But essentially what I have my felt. This one, I got a little overzealous and kind of pulled this off, so I'm gonna have to fix that here in a second, and that will be fine. We'll take care of that. In addition to the felt, I also have some fun pom-poms. I just picked these up at Michael's and I just really like them. I think they're super fun. I have more of that black grosgrain ribbon, and then we have, I just have some really thin yarn, just classic white yarn. I got this at Michael's as well. Okay, now I need to fix this. So, if you are someone who is like me and you kind of don't know your own strength sometimes, we have to be a little careful. But I'm going to use this. It's called Fabri-Flex, and I saw this on Rachel from Daily Creations. She uses this on a lot of her crafts. So I found some, and I thought I would give it a try, and I actually really like it. I'm going to have to pop a picture up here in the corner here in a second. I made a 3-dimensional gnome using a kit from Spellbinders, and I used this on that as well, and it worked really, really good to kind of put some of my felt embellishment pieces on the gnome. So super cute. So basically I'm going to take a little piece of that. I'm going to just tack the border back to its little corner. So we're gonna let that just sit for a second, and then we're going to work with that. So here's my little deal here. So my idea would be that this spider web would sit on top of here like this, and then we're gonna put a letter on top of that. So I'm going to take a bead of this. You could also use hot glue. You use the adhesive that works best for you. I wanted to go ahead and use this since I bought it, and I really try to use what's in my craft space. Let's get this down in the corner first, lining up that side, and then same thing with this one. Now, had I had a little more forethought, I would have made this piece, this part of my design, I would have done completely differently. So with that being said, I am literally just going with what I have, and I think it's going to turn out super great in the end. I just, I didn't really think about which spider web I was putting on here. So we're gonna go with that. I think it's gonna be super cute in the end. So there we go. And another thing about crafting, you don't always know until you do something how it's really going to work out. So sometimes what you have in your mind doesn't quite work out in reality, and then you just pivot and change based on what's happening in front of you. So that is what we are doing here today. I'm going to take this, put that in the corner there, line that side up there. Okay, so we're basically gluing felt to felt, and then I'm just going to set that under a little acrylic block. Okay, so here's this one. See how now it's got a little extra sturdiness to this edge here, and then I have my spider web piece. Okay, we'll just set this off to the side. Let's go ahead and get these letters on here. So this is my spider web, okay, and then this is going to sit like that. Whoop. That's going to sit like that. Now I'm not going to put glue all over the bee and all over the spider web. I'm just going to put the bee or the glue where it needs to actually be, and I think I kind of want these a little lower. I'm just working with my placement here. So I'm going to lift up the corner here. We're going to put glue all on this side and pop that right back into place, just like that. Then I'm going to pick up like right here. I'm just going to go right along that piece of the spider web, and then same thing over here. I'm putting just enough glue to tack this into place. So here's that, and that'll just sit and hang out. You know, if it's not 100% perfect, well, it is spooky time, and you know how Halloween fonts can be kind of crazy. So we're going to put this side by side, and we'll put that like this. So I'm going to fold this side up, and I'm going to put some glue in all the places where it will meet up with the black piece of felt underneath. And then I think right here, I just need a little bit about right there, and a little bit over here. And I tell you, this stuff, a little goes a long way. I'm an over adheser, so normally I put a lot of glue everywhere, but quite frankly, you don't need a lot of glue. So here's this one. I'm going to move that off to the side, set it under there. This one, set that over there. Okay, let's bring this one in. So those two arms are on there. Then we're going to do the same thing we did before. This can come and sit over there. And then we have that one. Okay, got like a little acrylic block sandwich over there. So now we're going to get to our ghost. Now the ghosts are going to be pretty easy as long as I have these in the right orientation. So that's kind of like an offset. So that was kind of my idea here, that I don't need a lot of glue. I'll just put like a little bit right there, and then maybe some along here and on this side. I'm not going to go all over the back of the ghost, more along the perimeter than anything. And we'll just lift up the bottom piece, get a little under there. Okay, so between my fingers and this glue, got a little bit of a lint situation going on. So I'm just going to use a baby wipe to wipe that off. Wipe off my fingers. It actually comes off pretty good if you get this stuff on your fingers. Normally I would run to the sink and wash my hands, but this baby wipe is seeming to do a pretty good job. And it's also not sticking to my nail polish. So that is a win. big time. Okay, so there's one little ghost. Okay, here's our other ghost. Okay, we are done, I believe, with our glue. So I've got that all cleaned off. Put the lid back on. And just a side note, I got my bottle at Hobby Lobby in the fabric section, you know, where all the fabric and sewing stuff is. And then when I was in Michael's, I saw Michael's has the larger bottles. Now, Hobby Lobby, I've seen them have the larger bottles, but mine did not have the larger bottle. The larger bottle is, you know, a little bit bigger than this, quite frankly. So, definitely something to look into. Okay, I'm gonna let that ghost hang out for a minute. Let's move all of this out of the way because we don't need this anymore. Okay, here is my design, and I was thinking that it would be fun to have one of each ghost in the middle, like this. In fact, can I zoom out anymore? I can. Okay, so it'd be like this, and then I would have this ghost over here and this ghost over here. So I'm alternating the ghost designs. Let me open this bag. This is a resealable bag. That's fantastic. I didn't notice that before. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Got all this here. We've got orange, black, and white. So I just need to decide how much orange, black, and white I want, you know, on the rest of my deal here. So, like, there's an orange one, and here's an orange one. And then, why don't we do green, orange, purple, green, orange, purple, green, and orange. What do we think of that? Does that look pretty good? Okay, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna put all these back in here. If you know of some pom-pom crafts, you know, let me know. That'd be fantastic. Okay, we're gonna use this ribbon here in a little bit, but for right now, we're gonna use this. I'm hoping this is not too ginormous to go through these pom-poms. So what I'm gonna do, let's try one and see, because if it is, I will have to change my mind about what I'm doing. Okay, that will work. We'll have to stick this through here. And I think I'm gonna go from the front of the ghost behind. I don't wanna be too close to the edge, because if I'm too close to the edge, it'll tear. Okay, so that is a little thick. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to wiggle the hole, make it bigger. And it's really just a matter of this first strand that's double. Oh, wait a minute, I have an idea. We're gonna make it easy. We are going to glue the ghost onto the string. I think that would be the best thing to do. All right, so I'm gonna bring back in this little piece of paper, mainly so that I don't get glue all over my mat. So my needle will go through, it will go through all of my things, but okay, it will not go through my felt. So we're gonna do it this way. I have a ball, I'm gonna do 1 inch, and then I'm gonna do like another kind of inch right here. So I'm gonna put the ball here, and I'm gonna put the ghost head right here. So that's total of 3 inches in between. And the good part about that is I'll still have room for my black ribbon. So here we go. we'll just put a tiny spot of glue. Put our ghost down on there. And then we'll move him down to here. Then we'll grab our needle again. We're going to stick that through the ball. So I'll string it, holding on to that, and I want approximately 3 inches between this ghost and this ball. So is that sticking on there? Actually, it is. Look at that. And you could come back behind and hot glue those too. All right, that will work. All right, I'm gonna play some music while I get all of this together, and you guys can sit back and relax. Okay, I think that I have this all put together, and I don't know if my glue is set yet. I'm kind of hoping that it is. I feel like I have glue all over my fingers. So you could always use hot glue. In fact, like right here, like that one isn't set up. But I'm gonna go ahead, I might go back through all of these and do some hot glue, but for right now, I'm gonna do that. I don't know that anybody would know unless they went and flipped all of my ghost over. So that one's okay. This one I think is just about done. This one I think is good, I think. Let me just be sure. The ghosts were the hardest because there's not a lot of real estate and I just need one little spot of glue. Okay, that one's okay. And then same thing with these last 2 ghosts, and I will probably go back and cover them with hot glue. I don't know, it depends. If they stay, then I will leave them and I'll just take the tape off. All right, let's remove this from the mat. Okay, so here's my cute little garland. And I actually, you know, for not being someone who makes garlands, especially with felt, I'm not a huge felt crafter. I just kind of started learning how to work with felt. And it is just a very interesting medium to work with. So for not being someone who works with felt, I think this came out pretty good. So I love that. Let's double check. We have green, orange, purple, and then green, orange. So we have the booths in the correct order. We have alternating ghost in the correct order. So let's grab some of this ribbon here. What I thought would be fun is just cut some lengths of ribbon, and in between each of the elements, okay, then I could do a loop and a pull through just like that. All right, that'll work. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue adding that in between each of my elements, these hang downs in between, just like that. Okay, that one worked so much better. I think it helps to have the loop on the front, and then you pull these ribbon strands. They can go through to the front. So that's what I would suggest, is put the loop on the front. Okay, and if you pull it way too tight, you won't be able to move it, but if you leave it a little loose, you can move it. That looks so much better. I'm gonna leave that one unless it's easy for me to pull off. But okay, here we go. I'm just going to go through each one of these and get them put together. Okay, I think I got it, y'all. I am not a bow maker. I'm not a ribbon tire. Yeah, so here's what it looks like. I'll just kind of go across here, and you know, I'm gonna go through, see these little ribbons, how at the bottom they're kind of fraying. Again, that's what this comes in handy for. So it'll just take all that right off for you, just like that. And you literally, it's just more so the heat than the fire. So we don't want to light our banner on fire, but okay. So we have this so far. Here's one that needs a little bit of heat. Okay, so here is my cute little boo banner. This was out of my comfort zone, but it was super fun. So definitely try new things, try new materials, new techniques. They are fun, and you never know, you might end up with something you really, really like. Okay, here are all of the crafts that we made today. This was such a fun video to put together. This cute little coffee sign, again, this is just a chalkboard sign. I got it at the Target dollar spot about a year ago. I have used it before, now I'm reusing it again. This time I went ahead and I painted this bottom piece and along the edges to make it all cohesive. And then this is gonna look fantastic in my kitchen. I'm very excited to put this up there, and I just love the play on words. That is just hilarious to me. So this is amazing. Next, we did some little coaster crafts. Again, just that little triple round with the jute and the beads from Dollar Tree. Took it apart, and I did print and cut vinyl on top, put a little coat of Mod Podge on top, and now I have these 3 little coasters. And you could make an entire set of 6 and put them in one of those little crates from the Dollar Tree. That would be super fun. That may be a project for the fall that I bring to the channel. So those were fantastic. Next, I had these tiny little acrylic bookmarks, and I just layered adhesive vinyl. So we have the lit up jack-o'-lanterns, and I did use the black bow right here. We have the trick or treat, and I used the tassel that came with the bookmarks. Another is the mummy, and then of course spooky. So that's super fun. And then finally, the one that I wanted to challenge myself to do was the felt banner. And I think it came out better than I expected. I definitely learned a lot of, I think it went fine. I don't know that it could have been better, being my first time doing that kind of craft. So I think my favorite, as you all know, I love coffee obsessively. I probably should go to Coffee Lovers Anonymous because I love anything that has to do with coffee. In fact, right in front of us is my little coffee warmer right here with a cup of coffee in a fall mug. So I just love it. But anyway, this is my favorite of today's craft projects. Let me know down in the comments which of these is your favorite, and let me know if there's any particular crafts or techniques that you would like to see come to the channel. If you made it this far, don't forget to put a little emoji, whatever fun emoji you want to put down in the comments. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I definitely appreciate you so much. Don't forget to like this video and comment down below. That really does help push it out to more viewers. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you, so hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. But until I see you in the next card or craft, as always, have an amazing day and happy crafting.
Thank you all so much for watching today. I'm so glad that you can join me at my craft table. If you're not already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos arrive. Have a great day, and as always, happy crafting.